the newest Marvel movie made by Deadpool, and is starring Ryan Reynolds in his second attempt at Deadpool, but we'll call this his official first one. It's like, alright, here's a little history. Like, I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't know that much about Deadpool. Like, my very first introduction to Deadpool was in this video game that came out like 10 years ago. It's called Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I saw him as a playable character on there. I played as him. I'm like, this is a pretty cool character. And then I started seeing him more, so I saw him in some of the cartoons and stuff. But yeah, so he's an X-Men character that premiered in the early 90s. And Deadpool, he's one of those characters that has since gotten a huge following among many fans. So big that they tried to introduce him in X-Men Origins Wolverine, played by Ryan Reynolds, ironically. And one of the cool things about Deadpool is he breaks the fourth wall, he's funny, and you know, he talks a lot, and his nickname is the Murk with the Mouth. And in X-Men Origins Wolverine, they sewed his fucking mouth shut. I'm sorry, that is so stupid. Like whoever's idea that was at Fox, someone at Fox, someone said that was a good idea. Whoever that is needs to be fired and blackballed. So anyway, so Ryan Reynolds, he played Deadpool in that movie, and that movie was a colossal failure. No pun intended. And one of the reasons behind it is because X-Men, you know, there's Deadpool, he's an R-rated character, and yet the X-Men, they're kind of a PG lane, and lots of trying to keep it that way, and understandably so. But Ryan Reynolds, he decided to like, no, because we all know, we love Ryan Reynolds. He's generally a good actor, and he's a funny guy, and he's perfect as Deadpool, just not the Deadpool that he portrayed in X-Men Origins Wolverine. So when that fell, Ryan Reynolds was, I guess, for lack of a better way of saying it, was desperate because he needed a hit or whatever. And hell, speaking of Marvel, even DC reached out to him and cast him to play Green Lantern. And we all know that went horribly wrong real quick. And so at that point, Ryan Reynolds was like, we need to get this Deadpool thing going again. I need a hit or else for Hollywood, they're gonna kick me out. And so we got together with some people, and they showed us some test footage of Deadpool that they showed us like a year and a half ago, and we all loved it. And Fox picked it up, and boom, now we have a Deadpool movie. So the plot of Deadpool is we have Wade Wilson, who is Deadpool, played by Ryan Reynolds once again, and he has a girl named Vanessa, played by Marina Baccarin, I think that's how you pronounce her name. They fall in love with each other, and then he finds out he has cancer, and then he goes with the Weapon X program to cure his cancer, but then they give him the powers of Wolverine, pretty much, where he can regenerate and pretty much not die. But then one thing led to another, and then his girl gets kidnapped, and now he has to pretty much kill the people that wronged him and get his girl back. Now, we have all seen all the marketing for this movie, and it was just comedic gold. And our only concern is that the marketing for this movie holds up to be as good as the movie. And I can definitely say with confidence that the movie is definitely as good as the marketing. I had so much fun with this movie. Now, this movie is walking the line in the fact that it is a superhero movie that is rated R. And they went all out, man. Like, this is a hard R movie. Blood, violence, sex, language, anything you can think of in an R-rated movie, they really brought it out in this movie. But at the same time, they do it in, it's like they do it in a way that just works because Deadpool, again, he's an R-rated character, but he's also a real foul mouth, and he breaks the fourth wall. So it's like an R-rated superhero movie and Deadpool, that'll mix well together. And of course, Deadpool, he does break the fourth wall in this movie. Like, there are plenty of references in this movie that I was dying laughing. And it works so well for this movie. And of course, this movie also does exist in the X-Men universe. And the way they did it is like they illustrated it in a way that made it work well in the movie while still existing in the X-Men movie. But at the same time, the focus is still on Deadpool, and so that they can mix well together. And what I also love about this movie is, like, again, it's a plot. It's like it's a revenge/love story, and it was fairly simple. And by fairly simple, I mean like it shows in the budget, because the budget of this movie was significantly small, and this is a small-scale movie. It wasn't some big action spectacle like, let's say, The Avengers or Batman v Superman. No, this was a fairly simple story, and it knew what it was, and it knew what it had to do, and they just kept it simple, and it actually worked. And I just hope that more movies, they really follow this line of you don't really need a big budget to make a great film. Well, it depends on what it is, though, but for Deadpool, it worked. And speaking of it being a comic book film of Deadpool breaking the fourth wall, what it also ultimately was a comedy that is a satire and poking fun at the whole comic book genre. Now, I love the comic book genre. We all love the comic book genre if they're done right, but there is starting to become an oversaturation of the comic book movies, though. And the fact that this movie come out and it pokes fun at the comic book genre and calls it out on its shit, it was just kind of a breath of fresh air and bringing something new to the genre. Now, earlier I said Ryan Reynolds, he returns as Deadpool, and again, he was perfect as Deadpool, just not the Deadpool in this movie. But in this movie, he worked so well, and it just showed. This movie showed that Ryan Reynolds, he looked like he was just having so much fun in this movie, and like this is the movie that was meant for him, and this is his baby. Colossus is in the movie. He's not played by the same guy from the X-Men movies, but that was really just my ultimate concern before watching this movie, is that he's not played by the same guy, and he's like something foot taller than all the other characters in the movie. It kind of took me out of the movie a bit that he's completely different than the Colossus we got in the other X-Men movies. But you kind of warm up to it and you get over it and you ultimately accept him. Like, what I liked about Colossus, he was pretty much like the PG-13 aspect of it, trying to be like, hey, yo, Deadpool, you can't be doing this, man. Why don't you come join us in? And then Deadpool's just like, shut the fuck up. Then you got Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and she was great in the movie. Monica Baccarin, how you pronounce her name, but I wasn't the hugest fan of Monica Baccarin, but I actually like her in this movie, and I haven't seen most of her stuff, but I do know that she is a good dramatic actress, but to me, she's like Rose Byrne. She's one of those actresses that you know she's a good dramatic actress, but you don't really appreciate how good she is at comedy, and she was pretty funny in this movie, and she was funny for her small cameo in Spot. Honestly, my only negatives about this movie, and really it's just me nitpicking, was just the villain of this movie, played by Ed Skrein, and he was just kind of a weak villain and one-dimensional, but hey, the movie's not on, it's not about him, it's about Deadpool, so it's like Deadpool, he made up for that aspect. And there's a section in the movie where it was pretty much a satire, but there's a section in the middle where it kind of got dramatic, and it's mostly just the backstory of Deadpool, and it's kind of tone shift. But at the same, it kind of bothered me a little bit, but at the same time, it didn't detract from the movie because it didn't oversaturate the rest of the movie, because the rest of the movie was just so brilliant that when you see this section of the movie, you realize, okay, that actually does fit. Guys, in the end, Deadpool, it was just a fun movie, and it's definitely Fox's apology for this catastrophe of a movie. Ryan Reynolds is great in the film. All the other characters and the actors that play the characters were great in the film. It was just a fun, small-scale type movie, and I cannot wait for them to make more movies about this and see how this movie blends with the X-Men universe. I just had so much fun with this movie and with the character that after it's over, you're like, it's over. I want to see more. I want to see more from him. But in any case, this is probably one of the best movies I've seen this year thus far, and I said one of. I said one of, because we still got a whole 9 other months to go, but we still got a whole 10 other months to go, and something could overthrow this movie. But still, I'm just saying, like, this is the best movie I've seen thus far, and it's probably going to be the first movie that I give 5 stars to, because I'm going to give Deadpool 5 stars, for it's a masterpiece. I'm sorry, man, I just had to do it, because to me, like, this movie was very innovative, because it's a superhero movie that's getting an R rating, and for what it had to do, it did what it needed to do right, and it worked. And it brought something fresh to the comic book genre. Quick side note, I'm gonna come back to doing some more flashback movie reviews. Like, first off, like, I'm planning on doing like a review of the movie A.T. I'm gonna do that with my boys, and can't wait to do that. And then in honor of Batman v Superman coming out, I'm gonna do pretty much a movie flashback review of Man of Steel before that comes out. And before Civil War comes out, I will eventually review Ant-Man, like I promised in my review of that movie. I said I was going to review that when the Blu-ray came out, but I just haven't gotten the time to, so I am making an attempt to review that before Civil War goes out in honor of that. So that's it for the day. If you like what you see, go ahead, hit that thumbs up button. If you want to see more, go to my channel. The link is in the description below. And be sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Movie Pilot, and Periscope. Peace.